This is KUGAN, CASSIUS, right? Why are you laughing at? Why are you laughing?
Come on, Akeem.
Semi, no. Hello, Babar. KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MCK Global. I'm joined here by Ricky Hatton. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Very excited about the fight on Saturday. Like I said, the press as a trainer, you want to be involved in fights such like this, don't you? Very exciting times.
Huge fight this weekend, and Frank's openly admitted and said that he would have rather have waited for these two. What was kind of your mindset before the fight was kind of made?
It's, even before I even knew Nathan Gorman, he wanted this fight. Through being rivals in the GB squad, and then when he come and joined me, obviously he asked questions. What do you think of this heavyweight? What do you think of that heavyweight? And when Daniel's name came up, it was always a little bit of a he had a little bit of a snarl in his answer. Don't know what went on. I can only put it down to them being rivals. When they're both trying to get to the number one position on the GB squad. So that's what it might have been. But no, it's probably happened sooner rather than later. But I mean, Daniel has had all the. I think the paper coverage, or the TV time, and he's been biting on the big shows where Nathan's sort of like come up under Daniel's shadow from a publicity point of view, and I think that's what as he said. Well, I used to get the better of the sparring in the JB squads. Why is he getting all the kudos? Why is he getting all the paper coverage? Why is he getting all the airtime? And I said, well, if you want that, you're gonna have to fight him. You're gonna have to beat him. And that's why every time the fight has been offered or asked about, we've always said yeah. Because I mean, I know they sparred together a few years ago, and that was a long time ago, and that is sparring and that. But I mean, we know the task in front of us. But I refuse to believe since that time in the GB squad that Daniel Dubois has improved as much as Nathan. And that's why if he had the better of it back then, I expect him to get the better of it now, because how much he's come on and improved. Surely Daniel cannot have come on at the same rate as him, but I mean, like you say, 2 sleeps away, we're going to find out. Surely
we're not to kind of take too much notice of Daniel Dubois saying that this will be his easiest fight to date.
Nah, I think that's a little bit just to sell tickets, like that goes without it. But I mean, Nathan's not going to turn around and say this is going to be his easiest fight, because we know it won't. And I think deep down Daniel will probably think that he knows that is himself. But no, I mean, I do think with the boxing ability, I'm not saying Daniel hasn't got boxing ability, but I think Nathan has the superior boxing ability. But when they look about the boxer versus the fighter scenario, I'm sure they think that Nathan's just a nice kid with fast hands. They're going to get a mighty shock, and I think that difference is what's going to win it for us. His boxing ability and his speed is our trump card, but when he shows the other side, I think that is what's going to make the difference.
Ricky, I just want to turn attention to Mr. Tyson Fury. A lot of stories kind of surfacing every day about potentially what will happen later on in the year and the proposed rematch with Wilder. What's your understanding of both those situations, about who he'll fight next and also that Wilder rematch for next year?
I really haven't got an answer, Coog, because he's not been in the gym since. I know he has been in the gym, but he's not been in my gym. He's been doing a tour, doing his sportsman's dinners. He's been up and down the country, here, there, and everywhere. So I haven't really had a chance to speak to him or for him to fill me in. I remember the talk when we was in Las Vegas was the talk that he would be fighting at Madison Square Garden. But no opponent has been named yet. But I mean, he's mad keen to have the Wilder fight. I don't know if it'll be next,
because that has been suggested. I think more notably from Bob Arum that why not do it next as opposed to taking a fight
Tyson
in between.
Keeps saying that he wants to just have a couple of fights. He doesn't want to have fight after fight after fight after fight after fight. But he keeps talking about Wilder. He said he only wants a few more fights now under his belt, so it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So I think if it happens next, I think Tyson's right, primed. With obviously his performance he put on the first time against Wilder, with another fight in between where he's improved and looking the part even more. I think if it comes up next time, I think he'll be better. If he has another little warm-up fight and then fights Wilder in the new year, I think I don't think we're going to have. I don't know if it's going to be next, but I don't think we're going to have long to wait either way.
The opponents that Tyson's kind of outlined as potential opponents for his fight, whether that be in October at MSG or wherever, are Trevor Bryan and also Jarrell Miller's been mentioned as well. I mean, what are your thoughts on those two?
Well, it's very hard when you got two big names in the heavyweight division, such as Wilder and Tyson Fury. I think, only from personal experience, when I was making the fight when we were making the fights with Costa and Mayweather and Pacquiao and that, them fights aren't made over, a one-night dinner, where you both sit at a table and you make an agreement. It takes, because you've got different TV stations, different promoters, different, and it's negotiations aren't made like that with fights of that size. So if you're asking me, I think it would probably be one of the names that you mentioned there. And then I think, the Wilder fight will probably happen in the new year. I think it took it was about in the making, when I fought Mayweather, the negotiations must have took about 5-6 months, you know what I mean? So, I mean...
That didn't happen over in Nando's, did it?
No, it didn't. We're holding up this interview, I'm fucking starving, I could do in Nando's, but... No, but and that's the top and bottom of it, isn't it? Obviously, each promoter wants to do the best deal for the fighter, and and the TV channels are involved and everything like that. So it's not made overnight. So I don't see that happening next, but I probably see it happening in the new year, first fight of the new year, probably.
What have you made of all this stuff between Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury this week? It's obviously they've had a little pop at each other this week, and.
Well, Dylan has probably reached that stage of his career. He's number one contender. He's paid his dues. He's earned his rights. So I think Dylan's ready for the big fights now. He's got a big fight coming up. But I think Dylan obviously has paid his dues. He's moved on so much since his performance against Joshua, where he's become a better fighter in defeat. So he's ready for his. So obviously Dylan will be shouting out Tyson, and obviously Tyson. You shout Tyson out, he's not. He's going to come straight back at you. So I don't read too much into it, but I think it's clear that Dylan feels he deserves his shot, and I think we'll all agree with him. He does deserve his shot. So I think that's all it is, isn't it? Just trying to build fights up, and it'd be a good fight if it did happen.
Do you know anything about the sparring they had years ago? Has Tyson ever spoken to you about that?
No, never mentioned it, to be honest. I didn't even know they did spar, but I mean. You can't really comment on it. I mean, Tyson's a nightmare, isn't he? I mean, I've had the luxury of seeing him spar in my gym, and he spars with good kids, and he's an absolute nightmare. With his ability and his movement, without saying, doesn't need me to say that, but he's never ever mentioned the sparring between them two, no.
Just one final one. If you could rematch one of your old opponents, what one would it be?
Well, Mayweather all day long. Because, it's one of them that I'm not saying the only reason why he beat me was because of the referee. That's one thing I always sling by, and I bet people are sick of me mentioning it though. But I think even a Mayweather fan would turn around and say that job Joe Cortez done that night wasn't the best, was it? So there's many times I felt like, just give us another opportunity. Just let us have it on an even keel. You know what I mean? You just give us, 50-50, referee, play it down the line. I don't think he played it down the line that night. I'm not saying I'd have won anyway, but I don't think he gave me a deal. So if I had anyone to pick, it would probably obviously be him.
Why don't you call him out?
Pardon? Why? If anybody's going to be calling out, I'll be calling out Tyson Fury or Joshua or someone like that. But no, my days are gone. Now, of fighting. My days is bringing the next champions through, and have you booked that table at Nando's speaking? No. my days of making weight are gone now, but it would have been nice if, it always pains me because I thought that referee did a shit job, and I'm not saying I'd have won anyway, but I wish I had a referee that played it a bit more down the line. You'd have never known, would you?
I don't think Paul Speak's ever been in an IFL video. How are you, Paul?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, did one with Quake.
With who?
Scott Quake.
Oh.
Well, come on, listen, we've got to go on because he's
got a
getting
table
hungry.
Oh,
table
He's hungry.
Chicken wings, chicken wings.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Cheers, Ricky.
Cheers, mate.